Welcome to Saints Happy Hour podcast. We never skip a drink day.
Budrich wants to know how the doctor's doing.
That ended.
Now grab a drink and enjoy the show.
All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of Saints Happy Hour podcast. It's that time of week where we're on YouTube. Please like us, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment. It doesn't cost you anything, and it's a great way to support us. And Kevin, I want to say we've had a ton of people sign up for the podcast. People are getting excited about Tyler Shuck in the offseason. And I just want to say, go to patreon.com/Saints Happy Hour. Check us out. Become a paid member. You can do it. And we're the best podcast on earth. But they can also become just a free member. And that way, every piece of free content we give out, you get notified for. And hang out, be a free member for a little bit, and then you'll learn to love us and you'll become a paid member. So do it. All right. So Kevin, this episode, I wanted to go in a different direction. We've been talking about mock drafts. This is what we want to, you did a great mock draft 1.0 and like, hey, this is what we want the Saints to do in the offseason. This is what we want them to do draft. And we did a free agency. This is what we want them to do free agency wise to shock the NFL. Well, this podcast, we're going to go the opposite direction. What are three things we don't want the Saints to do this offseason? Because there's a lot of things. Listen, they're back on track. They had a good draft. Tyler Shuck's looking good. Kellen Moore's looking good. The Saints, the Vele trade looks good. The Polk trade looked interesting. The Fortner trade at center. Everything was coming up roses and coming up Millhouse for Loomis. But there's still moves they could do where we were like, what the fuck are you doing, Saints? So that's this podcast. We're going to do three. We're not, me and Kevin each aren't going to do three. We're going to just do boom, boom, boom. We're going to take a turn. So my first one, Kevin, is this. And we've said it multiple times, but I'm going to say it again. And it's burned in my brain because of the NFC Championship game. The Rams, in my opinion, aren't in the Super Bowl because their special teams suck. They lost the NFC Championship game in part because of a fumbled punt. 6 weeks before that, they lost to the Seahawks at home. They lost to the Seahawks on the road because Rashid Shaheed ran a punt back. And he had another good kick return. And after that game, they fired their special teams coach. And it didn't even work. Their special teams continued to suck. And I believe the Rams, when you add offense, defense, and quarterback, they had the best team in the NFL. But their special teams were a dumpster fire like the Saints, and it cost them a Super Bowl. Now, to bring that back to the Saints, if they don't address special teams, they could do a lot right this offseason. And they could turn an 11-win team into a 9-win team or a 10-win team into an 8-win team, and you don't make the playoffs because your special teams still suck. And listen, I'm not as pissed off as some people are about the Saints didn't fire the special teams coach. That's an outrage. Kellen Moore's too soft. Because here's the thing. All I give a damn about, Kevin, is fix the special teams. Because here's the thing. If Kellen Moore had fired the special teams coach the day after the season, right, we'd be like, yeah, you did it, Kellen. Great. But if the special teams don't get any better in 2026, we're not going to give him any credit for firing the special teams coach, right? Like at the end of the year, if the Saints go 8-9 and the special teams suck and they cost them a playoff spot, we're not going to be like, well, Kellen, you fired the special teams coach. That's all you could do. Good job, buddy. You gave it a try. No, we're going to be like, no, you still didn't fix the special teams. So all I care about is fix the special teams. And so now you're not firing the coach. Fine. You better not run it back. You better not run it back with supermarket punter and Irish kicker. You better add guys to compete with them, and you better get some gunners to cover kicks, and you better be better, and please understand the rules of the kickoff better. You got to get these special teams better. And if they go into the season keeping the coach and running it back in the summer, and it's like, oh, well, we signed 2 UDFA punters and we signed two UDFA kickers, and we're going to have serious competition. No. That isn't it. You better pour in resources to the special teams to improve them because they were horrible. Second worst in the league by DVOA.
Well, you talked about the rankings here. So the special teams rankings.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hang on. I don't know who's. So this is I literally typed in special teams rankings.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them, actually, I want to see what if StatMuse has them all. StatMuse has the Saints ranked 25th.
Mm-hmm.
This one from the Packers on Sports Illustrated. So it's a Sports Illustrated affiliate.
Mm-hmm.
There's a writer named Bill Huber who is the Packers beat guy.
Mm-hmm.
They had the Saints ranked 32nd.
Not gonna
So
argue. Not gonna
so
argue.
you're and you just said second worst in DVOA.
Yes.
Um bottom quartile, right? Quartile.
Bottom four for sure.
So that is like there has to be noticeable improvement, marked improvement.
Mm-hmm.
They've got to go 10 spots. They've got to move up 10 spots in the next year.
Yeah. You gotta be, you don't have to go from the worst or second worst in the league to good, but you gotta go from being an anchor that can cost the Saints games to either neutral or slightly below neutral, right? And listen, I will say, listen, I know people, fans get so that we judge everything, how a team is treating something. Do they fire the position coach or not? And if they didn't, they're not being serious about the improvement. But I will say the thing that Kellen Moore said, and in his end of year press conference, it does make sense in this sense. Look, they traded Shaheed, that's going to affect returns. But the other thing is they changed the defense from, a 4-3 to a 3-4, and they couldn't use the linebackers as much on special teams as they did before. And the plan for the Saints was they drafted Jonas Sanker, and the plan was he's going to be freaking awesome on special teams, and we're going to work him in to safety, right? We have Julian Blackmon. He's going to work his way to be a starter. Julian Blackmon gets hurt week 1. Sanker, awesome. But him being awesome as a starter, yes, it outweighs. You want that more than you want him to be on special teams. But it did, like they had all these monkey wrenches that got thrown into special teams. And I don't think Kellen Moore would admit this, but I just think this Kellen Moore and the way the Saints have approached special teams the last couple of years, they don't give a shit about it. They traded Will Lutz. They've been going with UDFA bargain basement punters. They cut JT Gray. Like they've done all these things to be like, we don't really give a shit about special teams. And like Kevin, it was okay this year. Like to not get like to be like, listen, we have so many other things we have to do with the cap and everything. Like we're just not going to give a shit about special teams. We're not going to emphasize. And it was fine. It really only cost them like the first Atlanta game. You can say that was a game your special teams really freaking cost you. Maybe the second Atlanta game with the block punt too. But overall, we weren't like, man, if the special teams would have been better, we'd have won 10 games. No. So I get it, but like you've got to take it serious. I feel like the Saints just haven't taken special teams seriously the last couple of years. And now, if you want to be a contender, if you want to play for things and play into January, you got to take special teams serious.
Well, so according to this, again, Packers on SI thing, their ranking system, they look at net punting, opposition opponent punts, kickoff coverage. I mean, they have this ranked somehow, kickoff returns, I'm assuming yardage, and then field goal percentage. And they have all those teams ranked 1 to 32, and then they add the rankings up to a point total. The Saints were the worst at 130. The Falcons were second worst with 129. All the way at the very bottom of this guy's column, he says the average ranking of the 14 playoff teams was 16.4.
There you go.
So hang on. So I'm looking at this. The Rams were ranked 26th. The Chargers were ranked 25th, the Panthers 23, the Broncos 22nd, and the Packers 20th. So what that signals is you can make the playoffs with in average special teams. You can make the playoffs with average special teams. The Seahawks are ranked third. The Patriots are ranked 16th.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you can make the Super Bowl with average special teams. So if the name of the game is let's try and get to the postseason, all you've got to do is go from 32nd to somewhere in that 24 range, and you could probably make the playoffs. Now, granted, other things have to, things have to be better, like the offense has to be better, blah, blah, blah. But that kind of a jump from 32 to like 24, it's doable. It is doable.
I think the Saints, like, if they got a kicker who was the 19th best kicker in the NFL, right? Instead of like Groupie, who was at the bottom, and Irish kicker, he's fun, but he wasn't that good. Let's be real. They got the 19th best kicker, and they just were like the 24th best coverage unit team. That's good enough. Like, that's good enough. What you can't have is everything with the Saints where it's disaster across the board. And I'm just saying, like Kevin, nothing will listen. Lots of things would infuriate me if it goes wrong during the year, but nothing will infuriate me more if we get to week 17 or week 18 and the Saints are 8-8 and we're like, they need to win and this needs to happen and we need this team to lose and that team to lose and we need a crater to open up and swallow the NFC East whole and then we can make the playoffs. And you are like, well, Ralph, in these other 3 games, if their kicker just would have made 1 field goal, they'd control their own destiny. I think I'm gonna pull my hair out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that, that will just drive me crazy because we go into this year knowing what they need to do, and we'll see if they do it. The one thing is, I was surprised that Denver was so low on your list. Sean Payton fired like 5 guys. It's a shame. Maybe it would have been, he should have fired Rizzy. The Saints could have brought Rizzy back, man. If Sean Payton was doing a purge, why couldn't he have included Rizzy? And I know Rizzy could just come on back.
So here's something. The Seahawks, again, according to Packers on SI, the Seahawks are average or in the middle of the pack on net punting and field goal percentage. They are top 3 in opponent punt, and I don't know what opposition punt means. It could mean net yardage for them. I don't know. Kickoff coverage, I don't know what that means, but they're ranked first overall. And then kickoff returns, they're ranked third.
Well, kickoff coverage is your coverage team, right? Like
right, but I don't understand the metric of how you figure out.
I would venture to say it's probably for kickoff coverage is probably start and field position. Like, okay, where does the other team start? And
well, right, but okay, so. But then kickoff return is the yardage.
Kickoff return is when you make the return.
Okay, so kickoff. Okay, the people listening to this are probably screaming at their radio right now, like, "God damn it, Kevin!"
God, okay. That's right.
So kickoff coverage means your opponent's starting.
That's right.
Positioning, whereas kickoff returns means the yardage. The number of yards you are returning the kickoff.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. It's average field position, starting point, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. So me and Kevin, we did this, and I had one, and then he has one that he's going to do the third. But the second one was kind of one we kind of like hashed out together. And this one, Kevin, is an interesting one in that for what I don't want the Saints to do this offseason, and this is free agency, is don't, and they do a pretty good job of this, but I can give you a couple examples where don't panic when a position you need you can't get your first, your second, your third choice. And I'll give you an example of kind of where they panicked. Jason David, remember him?
Yes.
Corner. He was terrible. Poor guy. He never shucked the media, and he never avoided them, and he always answered the questions, right? Which I always admired about him. But when the Saints got him, he was like fourth choice for corner. Like the first three, like they couldn't get done. And then they like panic trade with the Colts. They like traded for Jason David. He was like a strict free agent. They like traded for him, gave the Colts I think they signed him, and the Colts, they had to give the Colts like a 4th round pick. And it just didn't work out. Right. And so that's my thing with the Saints. Like, because like Jason David was the worst of all worlds, right, Kevin? You signed him. He was bad, and you had to give up a draft pick. And they kind of panicked, right? Like, that's what I don't want. Like, Saints, if you don't have your first, second, or third choice, like, just go down your list. Don't be panic trading with teams to fill a hole. Just be like, hey, we couldn't fill this hole, what we wanted. Go in other directions. Spend the money that you were going to spend on that position somewhere else. Don't panic trade in free agency or panic sign the third, fourth guy on your list and overpay them because you're desperate and you're like, oh, we got to have somebody at guard. Like, no, just don't panic. And Mickey Loomis is pretty good about this, but I do worry about this specifically, Kevin, for guard, because I read all these teams need guards.
Yes.
And when we're talking about this, we're like, oh, we'll get Edwards and we'll get this guy. And like, well, you got 7 teams that are desperate for guards and have cap space. My point is, like, don't sign the 5th best guard on your list and overpay them just to fill the hole. Don't, like, stay calm, don't panic. And that's my fear, that like the Saints are going to be like, we have to fill this hole, and they're not going to get choice A, B, or C, and you're left with like an open box, and suddenly you're signed the Jason David. You've acquired the Jason David of guards.
I like that. I like that. That is a lucid, well thought out argument.
Do you think, like, as we sort of go and like what the Saints, what they can and can't do, like, this brings me to a larger point before we get to the last one that's yours, is, listen, they're like this, and you've said it many, many times, like, this roster, as much fun as Shuck is, as great as Kellen Moore has been, like, they have so many holes. And my point is, they're not going to be able to fill every hole in free agency and the draft, even when you combine them. So I guess my question to you is, besides guard, which we're all kind of, I would say, like, offensive line is like universally like viewed as like the number one thing they got to do in free agency. But if I told you, okay, they're gonna do what we want them to do at guard, they're gonna sign the number one guard, but what would be a position second on your list where you would be like, they gotta sign a guy here, not top of the market, but like a middle class. If you could get me a solid guy, like my number 2 free agent choice position, what position would you want? It's like, okay, they sign guard, day 2, they're shopping.
Spot trade.
What do you want as like a middle class guy? You don't give me a name if you want, or just a position where you're like, man, they got to plug that hole before the draft.
Let me take a gander here at this free agents UFA. Come on, UFA. Not guard.
Because they filled it.
Right. See, do you do wide receiver?
It's a great question.
Do you do because look, you're gonna have Palmer and Polk coming back.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have Vele, who undoubtedly has made the team.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Olave
comes back, gets extended. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, do you spend a bunch of money on a wide receiver in free agency?
Mm-hmm.
when you could probably draft a guy who could come in and almost immediately be fighting for the 2 or the 3
Yeah.
out the gate. And shit, like let's say the Saints don't trade down and take a guy and take the Arizona State guy Tyson at 8. Let's say they do that. He could come in and possibly fight for the 1. Who knows?
That's right.
But he's definitely making the team.
That's right.
Do you spend the money on a wide receiver? I guess I'm sort of now talking myself out of it. So not the wide receiver. And again, I'm thinking of like the sexy picks here. I'm thinking like I'm looking at the running backs and I'm like, do you do like Breece Hall is like that would be the number 1. So it's like so then your second option. Let me pull up this here.
Yeah.
You're looking at Gus Edwards, Chase Edmonds, Amir Abdullah, like nobody in the running back.
Like 4 through like 10. They're running backs. You're like, I don't know. Like it's like it's not my thing. And I feel like this is a position that we're not talking about a lot. And I think it could be the Saints could make an aggressive move out the gate. Is Kevin? I think we talk about guard. We talk about receiver, which you just mentioned. We talk about running back, right? We talk about explosive players. I think on offense, one position we haven't talked about a bit at all is tight end.
Yeah.
Taysom is probably going to retire. Foster Moreau, he's just a guy. Like I like him. He's local. He got hurt. Maybe he'll be better. Maybe he'll be back to what he was before the injury. But even before the injury, he's just like a nice number 2, number 3 tight end.
Right.
I think the Saints, I could see them going after Dallas Goedert for the Eagles. He's older. The Eagles probably aren't going to re-sign him. And the Saints being like, we need competent, above average guy at tight end. So Kellen Moore's gonna say, so I can run multiple tight end sets. I can run him and Juwan Johnson. I can do what I want to do in 12 personnel. I think we're kind of that's flying under the radar. And I think tight end behind guard might be number 2 on my list, because here's the thing. You can I think there's a plausible scenario where, like you said, you go wide receiver in the draft, you go running back in the draft. You can do those things where I feel like tight end, most of the time, like you draft a rookie tight end, they're going to take like a couple years to figure it out because it's a lot. Like tight end, you got to block, you got to be able to put your hand in the ground, you got to be able to get in the slot. It's a lot. And the last year, the Lovelands, the Warrens, like they don't got nobody like that in this draft, as far as I can see. Right. So you don't have like a plug and play tight end. So the Saints may be like, listen, we got to get a veteran guy in here. We got to plug it in. And I just think that could be the number 2 target in free agency behind offensive line, where it could surprise people. Like I think there's even a chance that like it's like the first one out the gate, because I just don't see a path where you can fill it in the draft. And I don't see a path where you could be like, hey, we got Juwan and Foster Moreau at tight end. That's cool. We'll just draft the guy in the 5th round. We're solid at tight end. I just can't see Kellen Moore thinking that way, because I'd be like, you sure about that?
Yeah, I'm looking at these free agents at tight end, and Noah Fant looks good, but his run, but the knock on him is apparently run blocking.
That's right.
So okay,
and
I'm looking at Ty Conklin, and he's going to be a free agent. And look, his numbers aren't sexy, and I think he got hurt this past season, which
he's a 6th offensive lineman tight end.
Right. So maybe that's a guy you go after, and he's not as expensive as a Goddard or an Njoku,
yeah,
or a Higbee.
Yeah.
I mean, so maybe that's the guy you go for.
Yeah.
Because then it's like you can draft a running back. Like, I don't know, drafting a running back or drafting a high-end wide receiver, and you get that new car smell with them, and opening up the chances for them by paying the tight end who can act as a sixth offensive lineman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I kind of like that idea better.
Well, yeah. I mean, I could see the Saints talking themselves into being like, hey, we signed Goddard and we signed David Edwards. Okay. So we've solidified the interior line. We have a good blocking tight end. Now we're going to draft Tate or Tyson at 8, right? And we have Tyler Shuck. All these things we've done are going to improve our running game and improve the looks that he's going to get on offense to where we can go Kamara, Neal, Estime, and this dude we drafted in the 3rd round. We'll be okay. We'll be okay at running back because of everything else we've done on offense. It would infuriate a lot of Saints fans. I get it. But, it's interesting. So, all right, Kevin, the final. Don't you be doing this in this offseason, Saints. What is your final one?
Well, I mean, hang on. I want to make sure I've got your. It's technically not. It is and it is and it isn't off-season related. It is the off-season because they're not playing the games. It's not the off-season because it's the draft.
Here we go.
Okay? I am going to hammer this nail until I am in the ground. Do not trade up. Do not trade up. Mm-hmm. I don't care if there's a player who is personally blessed by the Pope sitting above you. I don't care. Like, I don't care if he's wearing the Infinity Gauntlet. Do not trade up. Okay? I need Mickey Loomis. We had the one trade up last season, and I was very crestfallen about it. And
what did they? Was that was 2 years ago? Or was it
2 years ago?
2 years ago for Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. And I was crestfallen about it then, and it sort of has worked out, but I was still crestfallen about it. And that was something that happened not in round 1 or 2.
It was round 2.
See, I thought it was round 3, and now you're reminding me, and now I'm getting sad all over again. But do not trade up. Do not trade up. Okay? Don't. We are sitting at number 8.
Mm-hmm.
You can sit here and say, oh, we really like we really like the Texas Tech guy, Bailey, and we're afraid that he's going to go, or man, Arvell Reese.
We got to jump the Redskins because they need a pass rusher.
Like, maybe we want to get the Ohio State running wide receiver again, and just become Ohio State, their pro team. Don't do it. Like,
yeah, no, 100%.
The way you've been pounding on this. The way you build a team is through the draft.
That's right.
That is a tried and true thing. You will always be building your team in the draft. You can only do so much in free agency. That's right. You need, it's the draft. It's been the draft. It has always been the draft. It always will be the draft.
And I want to say this. I'm sorry to cut you off, but if you look at the Saints' last 2 successful drafts, 2017 and 2025. What did they have in common? they had extra picks, right? You had 9 picks. You had an extra first round pick when in 2017. So like the Saints, when they've been successful in the draft, they've had extra picks. Here's my question to you though, Kevin. And I would say this, it's not likely because listen, the Saints just the trade down. We dream about it. You and me, we never give up hope. And eventually it's going to happen. But I really believe this year, if it happened, I think there's a really weird scenario that I'm worried could break your heart. And I wonder how you feel about it. Like I could see the Saints being like, hey, we're going to trade down from 8 to 14, right? And me and you are like, oh my God, it finally happened. Mickey Loomis, he got an extra 3 and he got an extra 4. Now we're cooking with gas. But everything I've read about this draft is the depth and the really cool players that everybody wants is from pick 25 to pick 100. So how would you feel if the Saints traded down from 8, but then traded back up somewhere between pick 25 and pick 100 because they wanted to get an extra body in those spots? You understand what I'm saying? How would you feel about that? The trade down to make you excited, but then they get back on their bullshit and they trade back up from pick 85 to pick 70 because they wanted some dude. How would you feel about that? Because I think that's if the Saints start wheeling and dealing, I think that's the most likely scenario.
I literally just look like you told me somebody I know got diagnosed with a terminal illness.
That's why you need to watch the YouTube channel. People.
Oh God. That's literally like saying, "Oh, we saved the leg. We say or no, he's alive. He's alive. Oh, we had to take the leg though."
Mm-hmm.
God.
I think
I don't know. I would be so I would have the jubilation because I'm thinking of the fall. I'm thinking of the plummet back to earth. They trade down. Everything I've ever rooted for in life
happens.
The most consistent thing I've rooted for, shy of going out with Monica Bellucci or Christina Hendricks, is trade down. That is the most consistent wish I've had.
Yeah.
Even more than money.
Mm-hmm.
And for them to do it, I would be rocketed into the stratosphere. And to then get hit the next night or 2 nights later with, they're moving up 10 spots and they're giving away this pick and maybe, or they're giving away this pick now and something early next year. It would just be.
See, that's my line.
That's somebody just poured sugar in my gas tank. Like
that's the line that I can't abide by. Like if they want to trade down and then they want to give away picks this year and 6 or 7 and whatever, and they want to shuffle around and do that, that's fine. I cannot abide.
But they don't have a 7 this year. They don't even have that little carrot to dangle. Their last pick is 189.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. Like, yeah.
Like they've got 2 4s and 2 5s. And I'm looking at it. Pick 14 is the Ravens. You can get 14, 80, and 15 easily for pick 8. Easily.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is, like, say the Saints got an extra 3rd and an extra 4th, right? So they have 2 3rds and now they have 3 4ths. And they said, hey, team, we'll give you our 5th to move up 15 spots in round 10 or 10 spots in round 3 to get this guy. Like that wouldn't bother me. But you can't be giving away you can't be giving away 2027 picks to move up. As long as you don't do that, if they want to, because to me, if you trade down, I'll give you permission and I'll give you wiggle room to be flexible with the extra picks to move back around and do what you want to do. But the 2027 draft is loaded. It's awesome. You can't be giving away top 100 picks in 2027. Kevin, I didn't want to make you uncomfortable, but I think
I'm going to be sick.
That's
what this is. I'm going to be sick.
That's the scenario.
You're going to have I won't be able to enjoy it now. Bless you. I won't be able to enjoy it now if they even trade back one spot. It would fill my even if they went from 8 to 9. I couldn't be happy. I would be sitting. I would just be standing and pacing wherever I am, going. Are they going to? I couldn't be happy until the draft ended.
That's right. Well,
why did you put that in my head?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Why did you put that in my head?
I apologize. We'll see. But you know what, Kevin? You gotta live in the moment. When they trade down, we'll just enjoy the moment and block out the potential dread. I'm sorry. That's me. I was being a bad friend for that. Sorry. It's all me. All right, guys. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching on YouTube. Like us, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. It helps us. Thanks to Thomas running the show back and forth. And I want to remind people, go to patreon.com/Saints Happy Hour. Become a patron. It's amazing. You should do it. So for Kevin, for Thomas, editing the show back in Poland, I'm Ralph Marlboro. Until next time, the bar is closed.